I've said it on this channel numerous times, if Alex Pereira is fighting or sparring or doing really anything, we are watching. He's just an entertaining guy right now. Very, very much so in the limelight, and you want to know what this dude is up to. He is fighting this upcoming weekend, and there's a lot of concern from Pereira fans that he is not going to be properly prepared because he spent much of his training camp over in Australia. And many people are going, whoa, you're changing things up. You're on tour over there, having dinners, probably seminars, doing all sorts of other things, cornering Sean Strickland. You are not going to be ready. So I want to take a look at what his response was to Daniel Cormier, who also shared that concern. What did Alex Pereira say? Is he putting everybody's mind at ease, or is he just being a little naive? We're going to touch on all of that. But first I want to remind everybody you have only 5 days left to join my upcoming sweeps and throws course, Strike Ready Takedown, where we're going to focus on how to catch kicks, dump people, engage in the clinch, sweep them out, avoid getting tossed to the floor, how to drill, some super awesome advanced sweeps. I'm going to share that with you as well. We have 5 weeks, 5-week course, 25 plus videos, 3 live calls, and there are still some savings that you can get. You don't have to pay full price. Course starts very soon and doors close. You cannot get registered after this Sunday at midnight. So jump down, click that link, and get yourself registered. So let's jump in here and let's take a look at what was said. I'm going to also give my opinion, having been a fighter who very much likes to have repetition in his fight camp. I don't like to head out, but I want to touch on some things in my experience. So Daniel Cormier was concerned with Pereira traveling to Sydney, Australia to corner Sean Strickland for his title fight against the middleweight champion Duplessis earlier this month. Potan explains that he already had prior obligations to be in Sydney and ensured that his team flew over with him so he could continue his fight prep there. Now, I want to stop right there and touch on a couple things. Let's say first, let's touch on my trip to China. I went to China for a fight one time, part of Team Canada. We went over there, we got to the Chinese training facilities for just a light workout, maybe a few days out from the fight, and the whole Team Canada was super spooked and thrown off by the size of the gym our Chinese opponents had to train in. And on the bus ride back, everybody was losing it. They were just going, oh, they have all this stuff, you know, like 10,000 square foot training space, and oh, we're in over our heads. And my brother and I were just looking at each other, just sort of rolling our eyes, going, it doesn't matter if you have the best bags, the best ring, the best training facility, blah, 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 blah. That is not the important stuff. Sure, it's nice, it's like icing on the cake, but the important thing is to have good training partners, good pad holder, good coach to help you come up with a game plan, sparring partners. If you have that foundation down, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, in my opinion. And I could do my training camp in this room right here, which goes about 4 or 5 feet behind you guys, and pretty much what you see. Full training camp here. Don't care. Just bring me the people. The right people. So if Pereira says he flew about 8 people out with him, a full team, I think I saw that in a different post, 8 people went with him, he can have everything set. Absolutely everything. Let's go on to the next thing. Said, why was he in Australia? Sean and I have a good friendship now. A lot of people thinking that I went over there just to be his corner, but I had prior commitments in Australia, and he heard people saying, oh, Alex Pereira doesn't even speak English. What difference does it have him being there? But he says here we're on the same vibe. We're fighting in the same company, so there's a good rapport between us. So he's going over to be supportive. But he was already there. So if he's already there and his buddy's fighting, he's probably like, yeah, I'll just go and be in the corner. It doesn't mean he's going to give anything extra, just maybe a little nice energy or something. And then he goes on to say, what can I say to Cormier and a bunch of other specialists that have been saying I should not have gone there? I've been in this situation before. It's actually been worse before when I was in Australia and I had signed up to fight and I didn't even know I was gonna fight. Not sure what that exactly means. And had signed up to fight and didn't even know I was gonna fight. That might just be a translation error. I'm not sure. I'm just reading this. But this time it was all very planned out. I knew what I wanted to do. I took basically my whole team there. There were 8 people in Australia with me, so we knew exactly what we were going to be doing and we planned it all. There's the 8 people. Pereira recalled his hefty travel schedule prior to facing Israel Adesanya in their kickboxing match in China in 2016 and how that didn't end up impacting the outcome of the fight. He beat Israel Adesanya by unanimous decision. So that was a tight fight. I think that would probably be their first fight in kickboxing. Some people might not have realized that they fought in kickboxing once, and then a second time, and then had the MMA fights. I'm drawing a blank right now on which one Pereira won by TKO versus which one he won by unanimous decision, if it was the first or the second. But either way, they were good fights. Like the unanimous decision one, it's good, he got the win, but they were not easy fights. And could he have done better? Who knows? He said a lot of people are talking about the traveling and all the trips. Maybe it's not the ideal situation, but I feel like I'm very experienced with that. I've done this a million times, to be honest. So if he's comfortable, he's going through the motions, he has his team there. The only thing that I would caution from experience and what I've seen in other fighters is taking on too much and therefore not having everything you need to put into training. And that can happen. You can become complacent, number one, as you climb the ladder and be like, oh, you know what, last time I trained this hard, but now I'm just gonna train this hard. That can be a mistake. It can happen. It does happen to many people. I've been a victim of that before, where I've beat some of the best in the world and put in like this much, and the next time I go, okay, I'm fighting this other dude, I'm just gonna ease back just the tiniest bit. Mistake. Shouldn't do that. So he could be doing that, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how he's training, but like I said, I do know that having a good team there can make all the difference. As long as he's not overloaded with obligations which take away from the training volume or training intensity. That's essentially what we're looking at for this upcoming weekend, where he faces a very dangerous opponent. Interestingly though, his opponent has been having to do the diet because of the Ramadan, I believe, where they cannot eat after sunrise and before sunset. So imagine trying to do your training camp where you can only eat in those dark periods of the night. And usually fighters who follow that religion don't fight during these months. I feel like that opponent has been pressured. Magomed, I can't remember how to say his last name, and Akilev, something like that. Anyway, I was surprised to see that he took the fight during this time period, but his hand was probably forced. He's probably told that if you don't take this, somebody else is going to get a title shot. You have to wait a year or something like that, fight a contender. So he probably jumped on it. So he is at a disadvantage as well. Pereira might have been traveling, but this guy has been disadvantaged, not being able to eat when you want to eat, when you need to eat, is definitely not ideal. So both these guys maybe are not going to be coming in at 100%, but they are both killers. They're both very talented. And either way, we're going to have a very, very good fight this Saturday.